Welcome to Storybound, where we're going to start dipping our feet in the wonderful multiverse of sci-fi. We will start our journey with Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir, the author of The Martian. Project Hail Mary starts out as a typical sci-fi wake up in a strange ship from deep sleep as the protagonist slowly regains his consciousness and memories via flashbacks. Rylan learns he's in a space because of a parasitic life form called astrophage, which is stealing energy from the sun, propelling Earth into the next ice age. Eventually, after Rylan familiarizes himself with his new surroundings, he realizes the star outside his ship is not Sol. Initially, I was put off by the first-person perspective, but eventually started listening to this as if it was kind of like an audio recording or audio tapes after the fact. I've always been into sci-fi, but realizing I'm not particularly well-read, other than some old Star Wars novels, The Martian, Skyward series. Guess I'm a bit of a sci-fi book noob. I do love Aliens, the movie, Metroid, lately Returnal as well, who all kind of have deep-seated sci-fi vibes. However, while playing Returnal, it was one of my main realizations I needed to reach into the sci-fi genre. This one seems like a pretty good intro-level book. Some math, some physics, some alien psychology and physiology, and of course, solar death events, which is the main plot of the book. There's some really good stuff in here. It was fun listening to the exchanges between Rylan and Rocky, an alien he meets in the same system, trying to solve his homeworld's issue with the astrophage, and developing their communications, exchanging math, and those types of interaction. As a Canadian, I also definitely enjoyed them trying to consider the idea of teaching an alien the Imperial system is something that he did not want to do, and kind of hits me hard because I'm constantly encountering it. So, sorry, Americans, please use the metric system. The court case was super interesting. The idea that a copyright case could exist due to a company copying all data and literature that exists to try to put off an apocalyptic event could get held up in court was definitely interesting to see, although it was pretty short-lived. I did really like Strat as a character and was glad to see she turned out to be kind of a good through-and-through character. I appreciated the idea of a strong, competent woman leading Earth's defense with complete immunity and doesn't abuse the power. I also thought it was kind of cool how they had to bring in a kind of a pseudo-hippie type who spent his life fighting global warming to actually come in and have to cause a global warming type event to buy the Hail Mary mission a few more years. Having Rocky move in was both convenient for the plot, considering he's an engineer, Rylan's a scientist, and also has enough fuel for him to return home. I didn't really care. I was enjoying their dynamic way too much. When Rocky's eating, he's pretty shy about it. I started to kind of consider whether or not maybe Iridians were cannibals or there was something going on with that where he didn't want Rylan to actually watch this while it was happening. I also started to question the explanation Rocky had of getting to this system and how Rocky found this exact system. It's bugging me. Like, I get mapping his system, I'm willing to stretch it a bit, but how they actually isolated this particular star and what's happening on it, maybe I missed some of the explanation of that, but I think for a race that communicates basically via sound, this would be nearly impossible, but I guess it would have been nice for them to deep dive into that type of technology a little bit to help explain it for me. Once we get near the end, Rylan finds out the truth as to why he's on the mission. The idea that he didn't actually want to go is a really neat twist I hadn't considered, although looking back, all the signs were definitely there in the flashbacks. They also gave him retrograde amnesia as well, which was a pretty good plot twist, and shows just how far Strat was willing to go to make sure the project goes through and through, and their kind of conflict with each other was really fun to read as well. I hate that I didn't fully trust Rocky through the book. Combination of not allowing him to see inside the ship, him being weird about his food. He also gets more and more irate the longer the book goes on. But the closer they get to traveling to their homewards, the more I got anxious that he was also going to backstab Ryland for some reason. Luckily, he doesn't. It was just him getting more comfortable with Ryland, being a bit more on edge of potential failure, being secretive of some of his more kind of tribal social norms. A sad goodbye is given between Rocky and Ryland, and their journeys back home start their own separate ways. Also giving Ryland a choice to be a hero towards the end was a nice bookend, where it starts off with a bit of a catastrophe on his ship that he's able to resolve, and then he realizes that Rocky's ship is most likely experiencing it as well and needs to choose to go and save him. So he gets to be a hero after working endlessly to solve the astrophage problem, and then helping two worlds survive was a nice fit. Ryland gets to live on Rocky's homeworld for a time, and gets to experience their society, studying them as they study him as well. We also see that he's actually a school teacher for Iridians that are roughly 30 years old or so. The Iridians are peaceful and try to find a way to improve and increase Ryland's lifespan. He stays there for about 16 years and is eating basically his own cloned flesh, grown local and fresh, called the Me Burger. He knows 71 years have passed since he was born on Earth, but he has lived through some time dilation, so we're not entirely sure how old he is, although now he is walking with a cane. We see Rocky and Ryland are really good friends at this point, and are now fluent in each other's languages, and that their astronauts have also confirmed that Sol has been restored to luminance, and the Earth has been saved because of Ryland and Rocky's adventures. Due to Ryland's age and the thought of traveling such a long distance, potentially 13 plus years to get back to Earth, and whether or not he would be willing to survive that type of isolation or another suspended sleep, he chooses to live with the Iridians. I found this book to be a pretty good read. It's not the deepest sci-fi thing I've ever read or watched by any means. However, it has some really fun story beats, some pretty decent comedy at times, and remains well-paced and entertaining the whole way through. What it did do, however, is lead me to want to read more sci-fi. Let me know in the comments if you have any recommendations for sci-fi novels. I've been pondering the obvious series Dune. Perhaps after I get through Wheel of Time, I'll take on that monumental task. That being said, please like, comment, and subscribe. This has been a review of Project Hail Mary by Storybound. As always, have a good one.